distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bond University colleagues, and especially graduands, their families, their friends and their loved ones. Welcome to this morning's ceremony for the conferring of degrees in the Faculty of Business and the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine. It's my pleasure now to introduce our Chancellor, Dr. Helen Nugent, AO.
Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, it gives me enormous pleasure to welcome you to this morning's graduation ceremony. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and I pay my respect to their elders, both past and present. As I look out across the room, I see 103 faces filled with a sense of achievement and anticipation. I see pride on the faces of your family and friends, and I see hope for the future as you take on the challenges of the 21st century. As you know, this is the 25th anniversary year of the opening of Bond University. The original team behind Bond was visionary, unafraid to take a carefully calculated risk. They faced setbacks, forged new territory, relied on each other, and through it all remained steadfast to the goal to create something unique in the Australian educational landscape. That continues today. As graduates and soon to be Bondies, you share those same attributes. Attributes that will take you forward, not just in your careers, but through life. This is no more true than for Indigenous student Kimberly Brooks, who despite failing, I'm sorry to mention this, Kimberly, 2 subjects in your first semester and nearly giving up, persevered. With the support of faculty and staff, Kimberly went on to pass every class, and she leaves Bond to take up a permanent position with the Sofitel as a revenue analyst, the first student from Bond to hold this position with the hotel chain. Kimberly, we are so proud of you. Forging new territory is nothing new for PhD graduate Mark Barash, who took out 3rd place in a global genetic research competition for his research to help solve crimes and ancient mysteries. A former forensic DNA officer with the Israeli police force in Jerusalem, Mr. Barash moved to Australia in 2010 to undertake his groundbreaking research at Bond University's Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine. And Mark will be receiving his doctorate today. These are but 2 of a room full of stories of individual triumphs. As you leave Bond today, we wish you a future of personal and professional success as you take with you the enterprising traits that our founders bestowed 25 years ago. Congratulations to each and every one of you on graduating today. You have my personal best wishes for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now delighted to introduce this morning's occasional speaker, Mr. John Coates, AC. Mr. Coates was elected Vice President of the International Olympic Committee in September 2013, having been a member of the IOC since 2001 and a member of the IOC Executive Board from 2009 to 2013. He is Chairman of the IOC 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games Coordination, Juridical and Sports and Law Commissions, and a member of the TV Rights and New Media and 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games Coordinating Commissions. He was a member of the 2012 London Olympic Games Coordination Commission. Since 2011, Mr. Coates has been President of the International Council of Arbitration for Sport and Court of Arbitration for Sport. Mr. Coates is President of the Australian Olympic Committee Inc. and Chairman of the Australian Olympic Foundation Limited, and I'm absolutely delighted to serve on that with Mr. Coates. He was chef de mission of the Australian Olympic teams in Beijing, Athens, Sydney, Atlanta, Barcelona and Seoul, and held other senior team positions in Los Angeles, Moscow and Montreal. He was vice president of the Sydney Olympic bid, and we know how wonderfully successful that was, senior vice president of the Sydney Organising Committee for 2000 Olympic Games, and we still resonate with pride, and chairman of the SOCOG Sports Commission, which was responsible for all sports programs. He is a council member of the International Rowing Federation since 1992, a former president of the Australian Rowing Council and former deputy chairman of the Australian Institute of Sports and Sports Commission. Mr. Coates is a graduate in law from Sydney University, chairman of the William Inglis & Son Limited and a member of the Grant Samuel Advisory Board and Sydney Olympic Park Authority Board. He served on the board of David Jones Limited for 17 years, the last 8 as deputy chairman. Mr. Coates became a member, AM, in the General Division of the Order of Australia in 1989 for service to rowing and was appointed as an officer, AO, in 1995 for service to the advancement of sport and the Olympic movement. He was awarded the Olympic Order in Gold at the closing ceremony of the Sydney Olympics and the FISA Medal of Honour during those games. He was awarded the Australian Sports Medal in 2001 and Centenary Medal in 2003. In 2006, he was promoted to the country's highest civilian honour as a companion of the General Division of the Order of Australia, AC, for service to the development of sport nationally and internationally through the Olympic movement, promoting the well-being of youth and values of tolerance, understanding, peace and mutual respect between peoples of the world. Not only that, he's a darn good bloke. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. John Coates, AC.
I think it's time for my office to cull that. It was a bit long. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here, and also congratulations, Chancellor, and to the University on your 25th anniversary. My first and most pleasant task today is to congratulate the young men and women assembled here who are about to enter a new, challenging and I'm sure very productive stage of their lives. You are already achievers and there's much more to come. This occasion, I know, offers great cause for pride both to yourselves and those members of your families who are here today. What I intend to do is to discuss this question of achievement and presume to offer you some advice. Over many years, I have had the privilege of watching young Australian athletes striving to become the best in their field. It's something of a cliche to say that they are chasing a dream, but cliches do often offer a truth. Achievement at the highest levels of sport really does dominate much of their thinking and probably their dreaming. There's a goal that is necessarily rare. Becoming an Olympian means that you're a member of an exclusive group, the highest achievers in Australian sport, right up there with the Wallabies, I think. Nobody can ever take that distinction away from you. Once an Olympian, you're forever an Olympian, and the best of our Olympians have been, as you know, the best in the world. It's no great revelation to state that we as a nation identify heavily with sport. It's embedded in our culture, part of our very psyche. Why is this so? Possibly the explanation has something to do with our comparative youth as a nation and our geographic isolation. Among Australia's earliest heroes were the explorers who probed its frontiers, crossed mountain ranges and deserts, and established lines of communication and transport between the extremities of this nation. But other heroes soon followed. As early as 1805, organised rowing matches were contested between crews of visiting ships in Sydney Harbour. And by 1863, intercolonial contests were taking place. In 1876, a giant quarryman from Parramatta, Edward Trickett, made the voyage to England to race on the Thames for the World Sculling Championships, thus becoming our first world champion in any sport. Our earliest Olympians, from Edwin Flack through to swimmers Freddie Lane and Frank Beaurepaire, wanted desperately to win. For the athletes of most European countries in that era, participating in the Olympics meant crossing a border or two and spending a few days, possibly a week, away from home. For Australian Olympians, at least until air travel arrived in the 1950s, it meant long sea voyages and absences from their families. During those voyages, they had virtually no training facilities. The swimmers and divers had to splash around in a canvas pool 3 metres square during journeys that lasted 5 or 6 weeks. All it was good for was getting wet. A member of the 1924 team, Ernest Henry, recalled ruefully. Sometimes the consequences of sporting success can be profound. Who could ever doubt the impact on Australian society of the performance of Catherine Freeman in winning the 400 metres final at the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games? 11 days after she ignited the flame that burned throughout those games, she fulfilled a mission which had absorbed her since her childhood. Catherine became the first Indigenous athlete to win an Olympic gold medal. She carried an enormous, in an individual event, she carried an enormous burden of expectation. Her victory became a defining moment in the forging of a national identity, a moment to celebrate the heritage, culture and traditions and contributions of the nation's first people. Such moments are not, of course, limited to this country. How appropriate it was at the 2012 Olympics that a Muslim named Mohammed, who'd been born in Mogadishu, Somalia, transported to London as a young boy and acquired the nickname of Mo, emerged as one of Britain's heroes. A Londoner and an ardent Arsenal football fan, he had no doubt about his place in the multi-ethnic, multicultural nation that is today's Great Britain. Asked after winning 2 gold medals if he'd rather be representing Somalia, he answered firmly, "Look, mate, this is my country. This is where I grew up, where I started life. When I put on my GB vest, it makes me feel good." Before those games, Mo Farah was a fine young athlete. Forever after them, though, he would be a proud symbol of the diversity that has enriched his nation. Such is the power of sport. Now to the advice I'd presume to offer. You represent one wave of an enviable generation. You possess youth and intelligence, and you're about to enter a world in which the rate of change is more rapid than it has ever been. One thing I've learnt is that in a vastly changing world, it's important for organisations and for people themselves to be prepared to change themselves and their own attitudes. The alternative isn't attractive. It's to stand still. It's to go the way of the League of Nations, which was founded enthusiastically after the Great War, its mission to ensure that peace reigned forever, more throughout the world. Some hope with that. The modern Olympics, which represented the culmination of a dream by the French Baron Pierre de Coubertin, have changed quite a bit since they were first held in 1896. Certainly they were a marvellous invention. I'd say the best idea in sport, but I'm somewhat biased. In their early days, the games were strictly for amateurs, for example. To accept even a shilling in prize money was to be faced with the prospect of disqualification for life. Coubertin regarded professionals as the enemy. The Baron, who died in 1937, would have been horrified to learn that his beloved amateurism was erased from the Olympic Charter, our constitution, in the 1980s. He would have been even more aghast to learn that by 2012, Usain Bolt, the fastest athlete on the planet, was earning $20 million a year and had signed a deal to receive $9 million just to endorse a brand of sportswear. The Baron also had strong views about women. He felt that women engaged in strenuous activities were destroying their feminine charm. He was revolted by the notion of them even perspiring. Their only proper Olympic role, he felt, was to applaud male victors. If women had to be active, he preferred sedate sport like croquet. It would have upset him greatly to learn that their activities, or that the activities in which female Olympians now compete include boxing, wrestling and weightlifting. Nothing too sedate about them. It would have upset him to learn also that 4,847 women, 44% of all the athletes that took part in the 2012 Olympics, were female. Coubertin had other aversions. He was not in favour of the winter form of the Olympics and was dead against the notion of team sports. To revisit the Baron's out-of-fashion dislikes during those infant Olympic days should not be seen as a measure of disrespect. He was a visionary, but what needs to be remembered was that he was simply a creature of his age. As we're all aware, his values were quite common more than a century ago. As the world was changing, he simply wasn't adapting. Luckily, the International Olympic Committee that he founded has since been prepared to do so. Only a few years ago, sport in Australia was dominated by men. Some of them did their jobs well, and some were crusty individuals who could be obstinate at times. They nursed prejudices, showed discrimination against women like the great swimmers Fanny Durack and Dawn Fraser, and ignored the advice of sports scientists who warned that the high altitude of Games of Mexico might present some medical problems. Those were the games at which Australian distance runner Ron Clark, known so well to you up here, suffered permanent heart damage while trying to keep up with the Africans who lived at high altitude. Things continue to change, as they must, and attitudes with them. For the first time ever, the Australian chef de mission of our Olympic team in Rio in 2016 will be a woman, Kitty Chiller. For the first time in history, the Australian Olympic Committee has appointed a female Secretary-General. She is Fiona de Jong, who graduated in law with honours at this university in 1995 and has subsequently become a graduate of the Harvard Business School and also a member of this university's Alumni Advisory Board. You can be very proud of her. And remember, of the 35 medals Australia won in London 2 years ago, 25 of them went to women. I'm not speaking as an ardent advocate of feminism. I simply want to give some examples of the rate of change that is happening all around us in so many areas. So, in conclusion, watch this space, be aware, be prepared, and be responsive to change. Again, I wish you all the very best for your exciting futures. Thank you.
John, thank you ever so much for your wonderful and inspiring address. We identify with so much of what you've said, particularly your exaltation to dream. Let me give you some of the ways in which we identify. Bond, first of all, identifies with sport, and we'll hear that a little bit more, I suspect, with the valedictory speech today. We identify with achievement of the highest order. We identify with being first. This was Australia's first private, not-for-profit university. We identify with that heritage of the Indigenous people, as you can see from walking through the university and the art on its walls, as well as the wonderful Indigenous students that we have in our programs. And of course, we particularly identify with the comments you made about supporting women. But most of all, I know that our graduates today will take away the recognition of the need to adapt and to change in an ever-changing world. And of course, can I echo how proud we are of Fiona de Jong. Fiona has also been given the occasional address to a graduating class, I think about 18 months ago. So John, Mr. Coates, AC, thank you for a wonderful address. Thank you for all you do for sport in Australia. You are truly a great Australian. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please join me in thanking Mr. Coates?
Will all candidates for degrees please stand? Chancellor, I wish to present the following graduands who are in attendance today for admission to awards of Bond University. From the Faculty of Business, 91 graduands, and from the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine, 12 graduands. I certify to you and to the University that the graduands have satisfied the requirements for admission to the award for which they are being presented.
With the authority of Council, I hereby admit to the awards for which you have qualified. I hereby admit you to the awards for which you have qualified. I also admit to their awards those graduates listed in the graduation program who are unable to be with us today.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a moment of graduation. Graduates of Bond University, you may now be seated.
Chancellor, the following candidates are presented for the award of Research Doctorates. For the Doctor of Philosophy from the Faculty of Business, with the thesis title, The Effects of Goal Progress and Goal Commitment on Self-Regulation, Chancellor, I present Anirban Som. And from the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine, with the thesis title, Identification of Single Nucleotide Polymorphisms Involved in the Determination of Craniofacial Morphology, Chancellor, I present Mark Barash. Also from the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine, with the thesis title, Non-Neuronal ATP, Regulation of Release and Action in the Bladder, Chancellor, I present Luke Alexander Grundy.
I now invite the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Business to join me in congratulating each of his graduates as they are presented.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Business. For the Associate degree, Maxim Alexandrov. And for the Bachelor of Business, Mariam Abdul Ghapoor. Naif Kapti Al-Muhana. Amy Beckett. Joanne Burnley. Chen Jisheng. Oliver Lewis Fiennes Frost. Bridget Lee Foote. Ayman Abdullah Jaber. Benjamin Jackson. Woo Seung Lee. Li Yijiao. Nicole Ann Lingham. Cara Louise Murray. Narangi Rangihuna. Charles Arthur Wilson. And Joe Su-Young. For the Bachelor of Business and Bachelor of Commerce, Sarah Courtney Campbell. And Anna Rose Moss. For the Bachelor of Commerce, Sergei Buchin. Joshua Frederick Lujinki. Dion John Henderson. Sam Hourigan. Kayla Lauren Lambley. Jonggu Lee. Anna Lee Mayer. Jani Sitaranen. Taylor Smith. And June Wang. For the Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Laws, Nicholas Barnett Tompkins. For the Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours Division B, Maxwell Davies. For the Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours Division A, Brent Losco. For the Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Laws, but with First Class Honours, Nicholas Peter Konduras. For the Bachelor of Information Technology, Tariq Abdul Rahman Alutaibi. Chunyin Brian Lee. Hugh McFarlane. And Janaya Adela Thrower. For the Bachelor of International Hotel and Resort Management, Kerry Ann Gill. And Natasha Strachan. For the Bachelor of International Hotel and Tourism Management, Ellie Brealey. Kimberly Louise Brooks. Carolyn Ray. Stephanie Ribeiro Smith. Natius Lamond Walkill. And Kie Yamamoto. For the Master of Accounting Professional, Vadim Beck. Bartendu Ashok Chokra. And Lu Li. For the Master of Business Professional, Drikita Soni. And Abhinitha Sukumar. For the Master of Business Administration, Daniel Troy Bissiker. Rico Kamba. Christina Konkova. And Mark Reinhardt. For the Master of Business Administration Corporate, Mark Badger. Stephen Coote. Rachel Elizabeth Cowan. Terry Paul Gibson. Nathan Paul Gratz. Kylie Huth. Andrew Thomas Kirkwood. Rick Lipman. Scott Murray. Connor Morgan O'Brien. John Shillington. Matthew Simons. And Jeremy Robert John Stewart. For the Master of Business Administration Family Business, Helen McGrath. For the Master of Business Administration Professional, Shriyash Prakashchandra Atal. Harshal Domse. And Nikita Shah. For the Master of Business Administration Professional with high distinction, Mikko Mylimaki. For the Master of Business and Information Technology, Damon Sutherland. For the Master of Finance, Brodie Pape. And for the Master of Financial Management Professional, Zhang Chen.
The university is extremely proud of its long association with Business Breakthrough Incorporated in Japan. Together, we teach a Master of Business Administration program tailored to meet the needs of Japanese business. I now invite Dr. Kenichi Omai, the Managing Director of Business Breakthrough Incorporated, to present graduates from the Bond University BBT Global Leadership MBA.
Chancellor, I wish to present the following 29 graduates in the Bond University BBT Global Leadership MBA. Kazuya Doi. Tsuyoshi Kitamikado. Nozomu Kurosawa. Masahiko Makabe. Motohiro Matsuyama. Yukitaka Miyazaki. Hiroshi Motoyama. Toru Okuma. Toshiaki Sakai. Hideki Sawa. Hiroyuki Takada. Shota Takase. Yoshiaki Tsunoda. Masaki Watanabe. Hiroshi Yamashita. The following 14 could not attend the ceremony, but they are watching this ceremony in Japan as this portion will be broadcast. Sachiko Asakawa. Evans Kwan Ming Chua. Jun Haneda. Kaoru Horiba. Yasushi Inoue. Rei Kamiyama. Tomoko Kawakita. Emi Kuramae. Katsumi Mera. Shinya Morimoto. Hiroshi Saito. Hiroki Yamada. Takashi Yamaguchi. Tetsuya Yoshida,
I now invite the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine to join me in congratulating each of her graduates as they are presented. And ladies and gentlemen, can I extend a particular welcome to Professor Helen Chenery. This is her first graduation ceremony with us. She has just joined as Executive Dean a month ago, and we're absolutely thrilled to have her with us.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Health Sciences and Medicine. For the degree of Bachelor of Biomedical Science, Ria Joseph. Ellis Pointer. Soumya Ramachandran. Sarah Smith. For the Bachelor of Exercise Science, Huang Jiuzhi. For the Bachelor of Forensic Science, Jessica Swasbrook. For the Bachelor of Health Science, Yuki Araki. For the Bachelor of Health Sciences and Graduate Diploma of Psychology, Janet Lee Staluski. For the Bachelor of Sports Management, Joshua William Hanlon. For the Bachelor of Sports Science, Malcolm Stewart Hatfields. And Vicente Ian Franco Trentadue Mateo. For the Master of Clinical Education, Alan Charles Sterling. And Kamal Teppa. Chancellor, the graduate who has been selected to give the valedictory address on behalf of those graduating this morning has graduated himself with the degree of Master of Business Administration. Chancellor, I present valedictorian Tim Horan.
Good morning. I'd like to acknowledge first of all the Chancellor Dr Helen Nugent and the Vice-Chancellor Professor Tim Brailsford, our Speaker Mr John Coates. John, thank you for your address. University staff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and of course our fellow graduates. It's a great honour to stand before you and represent you all and provide this valedictory address. It's interesting, as I was thinking about what this privilege meant to me, and the word greatness kept resonating in my head. Not only it's a great honour for me, but now armed with the knowledge, experience and contacts that we've all built up here at Bond, we're ready to move forward and achieve our own greatness, whatever that may be. What is greatness? Well, William Shakespeare once wrote, "Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, Some achieve greatness and others have greatness thrust upon them. Well, 3 years ago when deciding to do an executive MBA here at Bond University, I wasn't really sure what to expect from university. Was it what I'd seen at the movies? Was it cramming for exams and assignments, lots of drinking and plenty of toga parties? I've been very fortunate, for those who don't know, to represent my country playing for the Australian rugby union team called the Wallabies. And I thought, what would be harder, trying to tackle a 120 kg, 6'1" All Black winger Jonah Lomu, or complete an MBA? Well, after nearly 3 years of late nights and weekend study and assignments and presentations, give me Jonah Lomu any day. For each of us, greatness can mean many different things. During my time representing my country and my career in business after I finished my professional sporting career, I had the opportunity to witness greatness, to be part of greatness and to be inspired by greatness. My career has allowed me to meet many great people of our generation. I've been lucky enough to meet the late Princess Diana, who provided greatness via her charity work. Been lucky enough to meet Her Majesty the Queen and have tea and scones at Buckingham Palace a few times. I've still got the teaspoon to prove it. Malachi Tava. No one will know his name, but a good friend, a former rugby player, a player who became a quadriplegic when he was catching a wave in the surf at Mooloolaba Beach on the Sunshine Coast. But now he still travels to schools all around Queensland providing education and awareness for spinal injuries. So you don't have to be high profile to be great. But the person that symbolises greatness for me, and I've been fortunate enough to meet, is the late President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. I was lucky enough to fly in a helicopter from Cape Town to Robben Island and walk around the prison in the jail cell where Nelson Mandela was housed for nearly 20 years. Then, a couple of years later, to have the opportunity to spend an hour with the President, Nelson Mandela, and understand the history and understand the aura and the reason why he united that country. A good friend of mine and a former coach, a guy called Francois Pinard, who was the captain of the 1995 Springbok rugby union team, told me a good story a couple of years ago, and if some of you have seen the movie Invictus, you'll realise that the passion that Francois Pinard, the captain of the Springbok team, and Nelson Mandela were trying to unite the country via the sport. Tells a great story about the helicopter landing at the Springbok training on the Thursday afternoon. Out of the helicopter, Nelson Mandela walked up to the Springbok team and addressed them. Francois Pinard, as captain, went across to the President and said, "Mr. President, I'd like you to wear this number 6 Springbok jersey on the Saturday afternoon at the World Cup final," jokingly. At the dressing shed just before the Springbok team were about to run out to play against the All Blacks in the 1995 World Cup final, there was a knock at the door and the President, Nelson Mandela, walked into the dressing shed of the Springbok team with his number 6 Springbok jersey on. He then knelt down on one knee with the whole Springbok team and said the final prayer. He put one arm around the African winger, a guy called Chester Williams, and one arm around Francois Pinard. Francois Pinard said the aura and the power in that room at that stage, there was no way they were going to run out into that field and lose that test match. It was a very, very powerful and a moving moment. It's probably just a real shame that John Howard, our Prime Minister, never had that with our Wallaby dressing room, but certainly a great supporter. I really didn't know what to expect on return to education after such a long break, but I learnt quickly that this place expects you to work hard, really hard. At times we all had long log jams of assignments, pending exams and overdue class exercises. And I think we all wondered how we might get through it. I used to think that having a couple of All Black front rowers bearing down on me was pressure, but I think Bond has taught us all a new meaning of pressure. Like many of you, the close-knit student community on campus was an unexpected bonus. For those graduates with the bachelor degree level, you'll appreciate in time the value and importance of these networks. And I trust that the framework and the foundation for your network has been set here because of the culture at Bond University. There's also a culture and a history to representing your country with the Australian Wallaby team. And when you finish playing your test matches and you retire, you come what's called a classic wallaby. And whether you've played one test match or 140 test matches, you're a classic wallaby, and you get one opportunity to present the jerseys to the current wallaby team. And I had the opportunity about 5 years ago, and I spoke to them about a soldier called Major Blair Swannell. Now, Major Blair Swannell, in 1905, he played one test match for the Wallabies against the All Blacks. He then enlisted into the Australian Army, went to Egypt for a couple of years, and then went to Gallipoli in 1915. There was a place called Baby 700 at Gallipoli, if anyone's been there, a very big memorial there. He was trying to look after Baby 700, was shot and killed. So sacrificing for your country, that's greatness. When you play for the Wallabies, you receive a Wallaby number. Now, my Wallaby number is 680, so I was the 680th Wallaby ever selected. Major Blair Swannell, his Wallaby number is 74. I've done a bit of research, and my Bond University number is 20,958. You also, when you play your first test match, you receive a Wallaby cap. You receive this cap when you play your first test match all the way through. So now I suppose I'll be treasuring two caps, this one and this one here. We're allowed to keep these, aren't we? Greatness is not something that's easy to achieve. Greatness is through dedication and commitment that we've all shown to get to this point. But true greatness is now for us to pick it up and run with it. For today's graduating class, some of us, our careers are about to kickstart, while for others, our careers are entering a new stage. We have a bit of a saying in rugby or in sport about being prepared to take the gap. In any rugby union test match, you really get probably 2 or 3 opportunities to score a try. The gap opens and you have to have the confidence and the ability to take that gap. Most people maybe see the Wallaby team when they sing their national anthem, but you probably don't see the hard work and the dedication, the extra preparation they do behind the scenes. An old coach of mine once said, and this applies to business and to life, you don't win test matches when the full-time whistle blows at 9:30 p.m. You win them at 6 a.m. in the morning, in the pouring rain, at a local park with no one watching, practising your passing. Moving forward in all our journeys, Bond has given us all the skills, ability and training, and also the confidence that if we get that rare opportunity and spot a gap in life, we can now take it. I suppose we can all call ourselves a Bondy. On behalf of all the graduating class, I express my gratitude for the opportunity and also for the experience. Thank you to all the lecturers for all their dedication right throughout all our courses. The standard of teaching, the network of fellow students and the outstanding educational infrastructure, the hot chocolates at morning tea and the late nights at Don's Tavern all exceeded my expectations. On behalf of today's graduates, I'd also like to acknowledge all the families in the audience today, parents, grandparents, husbands, wives, children, relatives and also the loved ones. You've all played a huge part in helping us realise our ambition. Our achievements are to be shared with you all. Finally, as well, I'd like to thank my family, to Mum and Dad. Thank you for your support through my life's journey. To my children, Lucy, Courtney and Alex. Lucy, thank you for teaching me referencing. Courtney, thank you for teaching me how to start an assignment 2 days before it's due. And Alex, thank you for teaching me PowerPoint. To my wife, Katrina, thanks for always being there. Thanks for your patience, understanding, support and encouragement, all while completing your own degree. In conclusion, I encourage the younger graduates to always consider lifelong learning. Whatever your age, whatever your degree, whatever your background, I trust that your experience here at Bond has been rewarding, although I'm still waiting for that invitation to the toga party. What is greatness? Greatness is going beyond where we all are today. To lead, to innovate, to challenge, but most importantly, to keep learning. I'd just like to leave you with a quote that I like to try and live my life by from Mark Twain. And 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did do. So sail away from the safe harbour, catch the trade winds in your sails, dream, discover and explore. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much, Tim, for that wonderful, inspiring address. We are inspired by your greatness. We're inspired by your presence today, not just as a wallaby, an ex-wallaby, always a wallaby, but also by the fact that you are a Bondi. Thank you for those wonderful stories, and particularly the one about Nelson Mandela that I think we all found so touching. Thank you on behalf of everyone for the commitment to your studies and your acknowledgement of your family. It's that dedication that typifies all of our Bondis. But above all else, thank you for your challenge to greatness. I'm sure that everyone here knows how impressive your career on the rugby field has been. But just to reiterate, Tim earned an impressive 80 caps as a Wallaby to add to his 119 caps playing for Queensland. It's your tenacity during your career and your dedicated pursuit of a dream that are qualities that are interwoven through the ideals that Bond aspires to for its students. On behalf of the graduates and all of us here today, can you once more join? I thank you for your words, and can I ask you once more to join me in thanking Tim? I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor and President to read the Bond University charge to the graduates.
Will the graduates please stand? I charge you as graduates of Bond University to demonstrate at all times the highest moral and ethical standards, to apply and to continue to extend your learning to the benefit of society, to strive through your actions to promote the universal worth of all people, to pursue the highest standards in all of your endeavours, so that in fulfilling your personal goals and human responsibilities, you add to the standing of your university, and to support and uphold your university and its alumni through engagement with the Bond Alumni Organisation and through personal commitment. Graduates, do you accept that charge? That's pretty weak. Graduates, do you accept that charge? Yes. That's better. Graduates, you can be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this draws us close to the end of our formal proceedings here this morning. But as our valedictorian, Mr. Tim Horan, remarked, there are many people that have assisted our graduates in realising their ambition. Several of those are in the audience today. Several will be sitting at home. Several will be watching this as we stream it over the internet. Those people are your family, in some cases your parents, in some cases your grandparents. They are your loved ones, they are your friends, they are your supporters. Please recognise that your journey here today would not have been possible without their support. Their financial support, their moral support, their emotional support, and indeed just being there for you. So I give you an opportunity to turn to those in the audience and recognise through your applause their support for you. Some say that lives are measured by moments, and some moments are more important and moments to be cherished than others. I trust that today is one of those moments. As you pursue a career and your journey through life, you look back on today with much fondness. You look back on today with fondness because of the friends, because of the networks, and because of the opportunities which you have been presented with. The glass is always half full. You are now well educated. I trust that we have equipped you with the skills, the values, and indeed the ambition to strive and always strive for success. Be proud of your university. Remember that every day when you wake up and look in the mirror, you will be a Bond University graduate. The umbilical cord which now joins us can never be severed. So recognise that your actions, your behaviours, your personal standards will reflect not just upon you, but on this university. We entrust you with that responsibility, and I hope that you fulfil that responsibility. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you've been a very polite, almost too quiet, an audience. This is a moment for celebration. This is a moment to recognise the achievements of our fine, outstanding graduates, to recognise what they have achieved. So I ask you, why don't you make a bit of noise for them, okay? Graduates, congratulations and best wishes and luck. Hey!